She saw too much, and now she's dead. The neighbors' secrets weren't just gossip. They were deadly, and the only person who got too close is me, Officer Lila Morgan. In this town, knowing too much can get you killed. Willow Pines was the kind of town where everybody knew everyone's business, whether they wanted to or not. I thought I liked that it made me feel safe, until the night I realized some knowledge was dangerous. I'm Officer Lila Morgan, Briarwood's only female investigator, and I never expected a murder to happen just across the street. But that's exactly what shattered my quiet life. It started with a call from dispatch. Lila, there's been a 911 report from 214 Oak Street. The resident? She's dead. I grabbed my jacket and keys, my stomach tightening. 214 Oak Street belonged to Margaret Ellis, a retiree who had lived here for decades. She was always the neighbor who observed everything, commenting on every car in the driveway, every lawn mowed late. But Margaret wasn't dangerous, was she? By the time I arrived, yellow tape stretched across the porch. Margaret's body lay inside, pale and stiff, her glasses cracked, and her favorite cat nowhere in sight. I surveyed the scene carefully. Her house had been ransacked, drawers open, papers scattered like leaves. But the strangest thing was a crumpled note clutched in her hand. I saw it all. I shouldn't have. I knelt beside her, heart hammering. Who did she see? I muttered. Deputy Nolan whispered from behind me. Neighbor says Margaret had been acting strange lately. Paranoid even, I scanned the room. Something else caught my eye. A faint smear of blood on the kitchen counter leading toward the back door. Someone had left in a hurry. Bag it. I ordered. We need full forensics, and no one touches anything until they arrive. As I stepped out, a figure watched from across the street, a man in a hoodie hunched over, peering through his curtains. His gaze held mine for a moment too long, then he disappeared, and just like that, I knew the person who saw too much didn't just die. They wanted me to see it too. Morning in Briarwood was quiet in a sinister way, the kind that only small towns have before everyone notices something is off. I started canvassing neighbors, asking questions, but one name kept popping up. Evan Pierce, the man who lived next to Margaret. Evan was quiet, polite, the type who nodded politely at everyone but never gave much away. But Margaret's neighbors said she had been arguing with him for weeks. Small things, missing mail, lights in the wrong place, strange late, night noises. I decided to pay Evan a visit. His house was neat, meticulously clean, but cold. Officer Morgan, he said with a calm smile, I heard about Margaret. Terrible. Did you notice anything unusual last night? I asked. He hesitated. No. I went to bed early. Something in his tone triggered a warning bell. I pushed gently. Neighbors say she was worried about someone following her. Evan stiffened. Margaret worried about everything. She was old. Imagination runs wild. I didn't respond, but I noticed a detail. The papers on his coffee table weren't arranged the way someone meticulous would leave them. Some sheets stuck out, edges bent. I made a mental note. Back at the station, I examined Margaret's notes. They mentioned addresses, license plates, and cryptic warnings. One name appeared several times, Riley Dawson, a local realtor with connections across the town. The puzzle pieces were forming a pattern. Someone had been embezzling money, threatening people, and Margaret had seen too much, and Evan, he seemed more involved than he wanted to admit. I decided to stake out Evan's house that night. The air was thick with fog. Shadows stretched across the lawns. I parked down the street and watched. Around 11:30 p.m., Evan stepped outside, carrying a small, locked box. He moved cautiously, checking the street, then disappeared into his garage. I knew I needed that box. Inside could be everything. Proof, motive, maybe the killer's identity. I returned the next day with a search warrant. Evan wasn't home, but his garage door was slightly ajar. I entered carefully. The box was there, dusty and unguarded. Inside, I found documents, bank statements, contracts, and photos, and then I saw it. A photo of Margaret Ellis pinned to the wall, marked with red circles around certain items in her home. Someone had been watching her, and someone had decided she knew too much. Footsteps behind me, looking for something. Evan's voice sliced through the air. He stood at the garage door, a gun in hand. I froze. Evan. Drop it. You shouldn't have come here, he said quietly. My mind raced. I needed a distraction. I grabbed a wrench nearby and swung it toward him. He stumbled and the gun fired, but missed. I dove behind a workbench. "Lila," came a voice from the driveway. It was Deputy Nolan rushing toward the garage. Evan turned, and I tackled him to the ground. The gun skidded across the floor. Nolan cuffed him. It was over. Inside the garage, I pieced everything together. Evan had been embezzling town funds, covering it up with a series of false contracts. Margaret had discovered it. She tried to warn people, but Evan silenced her, and the note she left behind, a warning for anyone who came too close. I exhaled, exhaustion washing over me. I stepped outside, the small town sun hitting my face. Briarwood felt quiet again, but I knew better. In towns like these, secrets are never buried for long. And sometimes the neighbor who knows too much pays the ultimate price. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.